The Touchdown Podcast is presented by Big Heads Media and the Omni Resort Nashville. What's up, Titans Nation? It's Hannah Gilmore, and we're back with the second episode. And today I have a pretty awesome guest on, Derrick Mason, former Titans player and now awesome radio host. What's up, Derrick?
Hey, what's going on, Hannah? How are you?
Good. How are you? It's very nice to meet you. I've never met you before in my life.
Absolutely.
No, Derrick and I actually go way back. He was one of the first people I worked with when I broke in the sports industry at like 18 years old.
Oh, goodness, man, you're young.
I know. How old do you think I am?
Oh, man. 22?
Yes, that's right.
There we go.
Isn't your daughter 22 or is she
She's 20. No, my daughter's 20.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
she's so cute. Yeah, we were just talking about her moving to New York and how I'm super jealous that I didn't have the guts to do that like she did, but good for her. So, so I just kind of wanted to have Derrick on to talk about, obviously, the past a little bit, about how when he was playing with the Titans and how different the franchise is today, and just kind of go from there. So, without further ado, when you played for the Titans, what has been kind of different for you since, after all these years? You played 15 years in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what has kind of changed, and what do you think is kind of going in a better direction or a worse direction with the Titans franchise?
What has changed? Management. That's changed, obviously. Bud was the owner when I was playing. He's since passed away, and now Amy Adams has taken over. And there was a time where this organization, after Bud's passing, they were kind of in flux. Things were not running as smoothly as they were prior to his passing. Some ups and downs, coaches changing, GMs. Finally, Amy took over the reins, and it seems like she's stabilized this franchise. They have a really good coach in Mike Vrabel right now. I think awesome GM in John Robinson. So as far as the change, I think is management and how they are approaching things. But it's still the same Titans. The core, the foundation of who they are, it still bleeds through this organization. Hard-nosed, tough type of organization that cares about the community. There are some things that have changed, players, management, but the core, the heartbeat hasn't changed who they are as an organization.
Right. So you played with Steve McNair when he was the quarterback, and he's still a huge. They retired his number, I think, this year, right?
Yeah, they were retired. First home game, I believe, this season. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's well deserved. Way past well deserved. So now I think one of the biggest questions for this season is, will Marcus Mariota be a franchise quarterback? And, since all of your experience in the NFL and who you've played with, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Marcus, in regards to him being a franchise quarterback, the position and the label that you put on quarterbacks, I think, have changed. 20 years ago, franchise quarterback was just it. A franchise quarterback and then everybody else. Now, because you have quarterbacks, Breeze, Brady, Phillip Rivers, and you have maybe a few more quarterbacks in there than Roethlisberger. It went from elite quarterbacks, then franchise quarterbacks, and then there's a tier which I've kind of on our radio show on 102.5 The Game in the morning drive.
Just casual shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yes. But we've coined it franchise quarterback, but there's tiers within the franchise quarterback. Mm-hmm. There's a guy that can lead you to a Super Bowl. There's guys that can win you playoff games, but then there's another level where they are guys that are going to win you games. They might get you to the playoffs, but you're going to have a winning record. Mm-hmm. I think Marcus falls into the category of a guy that can win games, lead you to a playoff, but he needs a lot of help. They need to surround him with individuals that are going to make plays for him. And it's been proven. The year they went to the playoffs, his from a statistical standpoint, it wasn't good. But he had people around him that made plays that helped him out. They had one of the better defenses in the National Football League. They had guys that could make plays here and there. And then they got, the bounce of the ball a few times. They beat Kansas City in the first round. In the playoffs, they ended up ultimately losing to New England. New England went on, I think that's the year they lost to Philadelphia in the playoffs. So that was 2 years ago they lost to the Super Bowl. But is he the Titans franchise quarterback? That might be a different story. Because his second year, I thought he made strides at being that guy. But then after that, it seems like he's fell off the cliff. And it seems like he's regressing as a quarterback. He's been injured. He's not injury prone. He's just been injured when they needed him. So is he a franchise quarterback? Well, he's going to have to prove it this year. If not, then they went and got Tannehill. He can be a stopgap for them if they do indeed need to go to get another quarterback. But this is the year where Marcus has to prove that he's the guy that can lead them to the playoffs consistently, not just once every 4 or 5 years.
Right, and I think this year will be a huge thing for him to just to see if he's going to stay with the Titans first of all, because
Exactly.
he may not be like you said, may not be the Titans franchise quarterback, but he could get signed somewhere else and really thrive there. You just never know. But yeah, like what you said with Tannehill, I saw him in training camp that he was all talk, like it was all about Tannehill, not so much about Marcus anymore. It was Brady at training camp with the Patriots. Did you go, by the way?
Yes, I did. But, we were doing a radio show at the time.
So many people were there just to see Tom Brady.
Yeah, because they might not ever see him that close up again, playing anyway.
I fangirled a little bit. Even people all in Titan stuff was just like, all right, we saw Marcus, we saw Tannehill, all right, we're going to go Patriots side. It was just packed over there. So let's talk retirement at 102. By the way, for people that don't know, I did start out at 102 just as an intern. Was I your favorite intern?
Yes, you were.
I just up to this day. So it was pretty cool. I really learned a lot. It was a great experience for me. But when you first retired, what did you think you would kind of go into doing?
Do you want me to be honest? Like honest?
Yes.
Okay. I had always pictured this.
ESPN broadcast.
Yeah. I had always pictured this of me retiring. At least the first day of retirement. Like the first day.
Right when you were done, you
just,
walked out of the door.
Walked out of the door.
What I'm going to do.
Went home. I've always pictured me getting home, going downstairs in the basement, because I had a basement at the time. Now, Nashville, you don't have too many basements unless you're on a kind of a certain type of graded lot. But I pictured myself going home, locking the door to the basement, going downstairs, turning the TV on, and just sitting there and just blazing up a nice thing, just a nice, big, fat, just.
Because you can kind of do it now.
Yes, because I can kind of do it now.
You're not going to really get in trouble.
Absolutely. And where I was, it was legal, so I could do it. But I just pictured myself doing that and just relaxing.
Yeah.
And just enjoying the day.
Well, we're in Tennessee now.
But we're in Tennessee, which means I got to go to the CBD route. I can still do it, but it can't be the THC in it. Absolutely. But that's what I pictured. But it didn't go that way.
But you didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
So what did you do your first day?
My first day, I just, I got home and I just relaxed. I knew that after I left Houston, that I was done. Mentally, I was done. Physically, I felt great. I knew I could still play. But mentally, I was done. It was like, there's nothing more. I'm not going to be one of these guys that go from team to team to team to team. I'm not going to do that. My kids were young at the time. And I needed to spend as much time with them because my son was growing. He was playing sports. My daughter was into sports as well. So I wanted to be there with them, and I think they wanted me too. So.
Right. And how old were you when you retired?
I was 36.
I mean, that's a good age.
35. Yeah, 36.
That's like right before people are kind of like, whoa, he's still in the game. Like, that's pretty
Exactly.
Like,
I got out just in time before they pushed me out.
Yeah.
Which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
But, I just started just immersing myself in what the kids were doing, and I was cool with that. I did that for a couple of months, but then it's like, okay, now I've done that, now what do I do? I was taking the kids to school, going to work out, picking them up, doing some other things, and it was this Groundhog's Day, monotonous every day. And then it got to a point where it's like, okay, I got to do something else. So I started doing Big Ten Network in Chicago. So I would fly to Chicago once a week. We would do the show, fly back, 2 days. It was great. But then, they got to a point where they wanted, people local there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about 6 of us that were flying in and out. So they ended up hiring local. So I ended up coming back here, and that's when I started really doing radio. Now I had done a lot of it while I was playing. I had my own radio show while I was playing. I had my own internet sort of on the Ravens website. I would do a show every week. So I was familiar with how it ran. I was familiar with the format. So I figured, I could still be in it doing radio. So I would do a part-time on 125. And then it got to a point where part-time became full-time. And, I've enjoyed it. Been with the station now, I think, 4 years. I still do, things. I work with STARS, which is a local charity organization here in Nashville. They're doing great work. They've been doing it for decades now, helping, underprivileged children, students here across the mid-state. So I've done that. I've helped with other charities. And then I have a company that I'm part owner of, Swiftwick. It's a sock company here. And we've been in business 13 years now.
A sock company?
Yes, compression sock
That's
company.
pretty cool.
So we've been in business 13 years now. It's local, so which is great. Everything, distribution is everything from here in Tennessee. And then just watching my children grow. But I still follow the Titans. I follow the Ravens because those were the 2 teams that I spent the most time with. So I still enjoy it. I still watch it. Not as much as I used to, but I still watch it.
Yeah, I think it's cool to hear, when once an NFL player retires, they spend their whole life, basically not having people tell them what to do, but they're on a very strict schedule, very strict diet. And so once you're done, you're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And a lot of people end up in charities, like you said. A lot of people end up on ESPN or doing something, continuing to work in sports. I talked to Wesley Woodred the other day, and he was doing something with Sparkle about surprising teachers with a full annual school supplies and stuff like
Which
that.
they need
Absolutely.
dearly.
Yeah, and it was amazing. He knew so many facts about teachers spend this much amount of money on school supplies each year, and it's cool to have that platform so you can pick a charity like that. Those are the kind of NFL players that you really want to respect and give your money to, in a sense of I support you, you do a great job, but this is also what you do outside. So
Absolutely.
it's really cool. Your stock company sounds interesting. Tell me more about that.
Yes. Well, it started off as a compression stock company at first.
I had no idea you did
Yes, and then we sort of morphed into, outdoors where it was hiking, and then it went from hiking to cycling, and then it went from cycling to soccer, and then now it's any sport, whether it be football, whoever wears socks, you can wear
That's
our
the
socks.
market.
Yes,
Whoever wears
wears
socks,
socks.
go
And
What's
the
the company
slogan is, it will be the last pair of socks you ever wear.
Oh. Are you wearing the socks?
I'm not wearing anything right now. Just my shoes. I've been running around town.
Really repping today.
Yeah, I'm repping today. Dang it.
You had the perfect opportunity to.
Man. But go on the website, Swiftwick, SWIFT, WICK.com.
Okay. Do you have a discount code to give us or something?
I can give you that later.
Okay. All right. We'll make sure to advertise that. So I mentioned retirement because Rob Gronkowski has been in the media a lot about, how he struggled with just how football's just worn him out and how people are questioning if he's going to come back or if he officially is retired. Have you seen the video on Twitter? I know it's gone viral.
Of Gronkowski, I saw a bit of it. He was pushing the whole CBD thing. Is that the one you're talking about, where he was standing in front of a crowd of people?
He was really
I saw a bit
emotional
of it.
and just saying it exhausted me, and I appreciate my fans and I appreciate everything that it's done for me, but it was killing me. And he kind of opened the door for other NFL players to say, have that, we have a great life. You see all the good stuff, but when you get home, you're exhausted, and you eventually just have to let it go and choose your body and your health or the game. And that's kind of essentially what he had to do. And I mean, he's fairly young too to retire
I think
But
so.
he's
He's in his
huge.
early 30s, somewhere around
Yeah.
there.
But he's huge. So I wanted to ask you about that. So did that play a big part, or was it more of your family?
No, it was more so me from a mental standpoint.
Yeah.
You know, I never complained. I know, listen, I got beat up and in the game, but that was never a complaint of mine, because at any time I could have walked away and said, you know what, I'm not doing it anymore. And then the game was much rougher then than what it is now, and I'm happy, you know, that it's gotten a lot better now. You know, but for me, it was all mental. I didn't enjoy doing it anymore. And I've always said from the first day, once I stopped enjoying playing football, which is a kid sport, which I played when I was 6, 7 years old, with my brothers, once I stopped enjoying it, then I'm done. I don't care how old I am.
Right.
Because I don't think you could be in an occupation and performing at a high level if you don't enjoy it. Now, people can go and, you know, just go and kind of go through the motions and whatever, but you never can fulfill whatever it is you want to fulfill if you don't truly enjoy it. And I wasn't enjoying it no more. I didn't like going to practice, where before I enjoyed going to practice. I didn't enjoy being in the locker room with the guys. I didn't enjoy that. I wanted to get out the building as quickly as possible, and I had never been that way.
Yeah.
So I knew it was time for me to go. I mean, there was no other reason for me to be in the game other than trying to win a Super Bowl. But I didn't want to be that guy that go from team to team to team. You know, I had an opportunity, didn't win one. It sucks, but you got to move on. And then my identity wasn't tied up in it. You know, I enjoyed it, had fun, but once I went home, I put all that stuff aside. It was more being with family and friends. I tried to have as many friends outside of sports as I did in sports. You know, I was good with retirement, and it had nothing to do with me physically being beat up. Now, do I have some residual effects from playing so long? Yes, I got chronic tendonitis in my knee. I've had shoulder surgeries, you know, but from that standpoint, I feel great, you know. I can't, you know, and I'm fortunate because there are a lot of other guys that don't play 15 years. They play less than that, and they feel horrible,
Yeah.
you know, when they retire.
Yeah, I think it's just all about taking care of your body, and even over the past few years with mental health becoming a bigger, you know, platform to talk about, I think that's helped a lot of, you know, people who are in the sports industry and people who play professionally, just being able to talk about it, being able to say, yeah, we go out and play the game, but like I said, when you go home, you're exhausted and you're mentally not there anymore after a while. So yeah.
And I think what helps too is I think people have to keep a schedule. Whatever it is, you have to keep a schedule, and then you got to continue to work out. You know, and I know some guys can't work out because of the injuries are that bad. But if you are able to work out, you just don't know how much better it makes your body feel after you work out, whether it be getting on the treadmill, walking, running, lifting weights, you know, swimming. After you finish working out, it makes you feel so much better. It makes your body feel so much better. And I think a lot of guys get away from the sport and they say, you know what, I'm not doing anything. You know, I'm just going to rest and not doing anything. Well, you're doing your body a disservice because for so long your body's been used to working out. You don't have to work out to play. You can work out for a happier and healthier life.
Right, yeah. I think it probably helped you too, though, that you played under Nick Saban in
Yeah,
college.
yeah. Yes,
Other
Nick,
people that played college
exactly.
ball probably didn't have that kind of guidance. Because, I mean, there's no way, I mean, in my opinion, roll tide, but in my opinion, he prepares his players for NFL and for life in general. And, you know, again, he's been in the media a lot. Have you seen everything?
Yes, I love it. I love Nick. I mean, anytime, what people have to realize is that when Nick Saban makes a statement, he's not talking to you.
Right.
He's not talking to the media. He's talking to his players, but he's getting his message across through the media. You know, every time Nick is very calculated, and I think a lot of coaches are. But when he's talking, he's sending a message to his players. Like the last, little, tirade he went on his station there in Alabama. You talked about players talking trash.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was telling y'all because he was telling his players, you know, I'm talking to y'all. I'm talking through this mic and to these people, but I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah.
The trash talking, I don't like it. You know, stop it. Just go out there, play football, have fun, win games. I don't want the trash talking. So a lot of times when Nick says something, he's talking to his players. He's just using, you know, the media as a vessel to get his point across.
Was he not the most intimidating person you've ever met when you first got to college?
He wasn't, you know what, when I got there, he was not the head coach, it was George Purvis. He got there my junior, senior year, he was there.
Okay.
And that was his first big head job. He had just, now he coached at Toledo, but he had just come from the NFL with the Cleveland Browns, I believe. And this was his first big Power 5. They didn't call it Power 5 then, but now it was his first big Power 5 job. And he was younger. Exactly.
Yeah.
He was younger, and you know, he had this way about doing things. He learned from Bill Belichick, and he wanted, the thing about Nick is that if you did what you were supposed to do, you were fine.
Mm-hmm.
He had no problems with you. But it was those that didn't do what they needed to do or supposed to do. That's when Nick had a problem. He didn't care who you were. Now, you know, when you come into some new program, you want to kind of weed out the bad apples.
Right.
And there were some guys, they end up leaving the program. And rightfully so, they just weren't made for it. But Nick is loyal. He loves his players, even the former ones. And, you know, that's why he's in a position right now as arguably the greatest college football coach ever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all I have for you today. I just wanted to bring you in, talk to you about your thoughts on the season and kind of what you're expecting. I mean, with the Titans and their season coming in, they do have a lot to prove. What kind of advice would you give? If someone, they sat down, who would you give advice to this season? And what would you say?
I think two guys. Marcus, for one, because obviously he's a quarterback, and he's the quote-unquote face of the organization. And then Derrick Henry, because he too is going to be a big asset to Marcus Mariota. What he does, and obviously the offensive line has to block, but what he does, he will make Marcus's job a lot easier. Will we get the Derrick Henry of the last 5 games of the 2018 season? No, we won't get that. That's just, if he does that, it's great for him. That would be, you know, Hall of Fame type numbers if he can pull it off just about every game. He doesn't need to be that. What he needs to be is a guy that's consistent. You know, a guy that's, you know, 65, 75, 80 yards a game. Taking a lot of pressure off of Marcus. And just being himself.
What's that sock company called? You got to look right and you got to say it.
It's Swiftwick, SWIFTWICK, Swiftwick.com.
That sounded like that HWRE, hotwire.com. That's what it sounded.
What is that?
It's that hotwire.com thing.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we just made a jingle for your sock company just now. Oh, man.
And listen, I guarantee you it'll be the last pair of socks you ever wear. Not because you will no longer be on the earth, but because you would like the song, you would like the socks so much that you would never ever put on another pair of socks. I guarantee you that.
You're not only going to die, but you're also going to die in the socks.
Hey, when you die, you will have the socks on.
You can be buried with the most comfortable socks you'll ever wear.
Absolutely.
There you go. Well, thanks for coming on, Derrick. I had a lot of fun with your favorite intern. I hope you had a lot of fun too.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, make sure to do what you need to do to this podcast to help it grow. And I guess we'll see what happens this Titan season. We'll keep bringing you on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.